Hello everyone, I'm Ethan Fender, aka the Slime Dars, and welcome to MTAO, My Thoughts and Opinions. Gotham is a TV series that ran from 2014 to 2015, telling a unique and enjoyable retelling story of Jim Gordon, Riddler, Penguin, Bruce Wayne, and many more. A series that I highly recommend for watching. Yeah, you got him. You got him. That's actually a little joke. I highly doubt I created it. Someone else definitely made that joke too. But that's just something usually I would say. Whatever. General thoughts. Gotham. Very interesting. I will get into the breakdown. It's been a while since I've done MTAO, so I'm just trying to flow right into it. Okay, first things first though, however, I will have to say, this episode, if I ever even do another one, will only cover the first 3 seasons of Gotham. So spoilers for those 3. And so there's a lot there. There's a lot of spoilers that I'm probably gonna say. I'm not gonna try to get into it because honestly, I don't need to actually explain every single point of interest in story in my thoughts and opinions about it. But yeah, just full disclosure, spoilers ahead for the first 3 seasons of Gotham, and a little bit of 4 and 5, but I'll get into that in a little bit. I'll explain why, whatever. First of all, just like I probably mentioned in Batman Beyond, which I most likely did recently for like a year or year and a half, I've been really into DC, and that's mostly because I just had like a falling out from Marvel. It really isn't about how the movies are, like terrible CGI or whatever it is people are whining about. Honestly, that doesn't probably matter to me. I would probably still watch those Marvel movies. It's just Avengers Endgame specifically was enough for me. I can't really I've seen a few stuff, new MCU stuff, and I know I definitely will watch Deadpool and Wolverine at one point because I mean, come on, it's Deadpool. And who knows? I'll get thrown right back into the MCU. But I guess we'll see. But anyways, yeah, I've been really into DC recently, specifically really everything else except the DCEU. I'm not at all interested in watching those movies. I've seen a few, not very impressed by them, but it has been a while, and maybe new ones are good, but I hear constant negativity about the DCEU, which is not that big a surprise because I've heard constant negativity about MCU too, but whatever. Alright, enough Marvel and enough DCEU, which is, by the way, DC Extended Universe. No one says Detective Comics Extended Universe. But yeah, I've been mostly into DCAU, the animated universe, which is what Batman Beyond is a part of and all that. So yeah, I've been doing like huge kind of DC sort of marathon, especially with DCAU. I'm actually watching Batman the Animated Series, BTAS. But anyway, let's get into Gotham. Gotham is a series that I knew about for years. I don't know exactly how old I was. I just know, obviously, that Gotham has been around since 2014, and I highly doubt that's probably when because at that time, I was, like, nearly 12 years old, so I don't think... That's really crazy to think about, too. Holy crap. So I don't think it was that year, but it was probably in the later seasons or whatever, and I knew my parents watched it. And then I was one of those people, either back then or because I was younger, and I wasn't more, like, open-minded, who assumed, and based on what I saw, which I don't even remember what I saw years ago, that made me not want to watch Gotham, because I took it, I'm like, it's a different story. This is Bruce Wayne's not Batman. It's like, it's one of those type of things, and Gotham's another one of those things where despite I know it exists, and despite what happened a long time ago that made me not want to watch it, that I could have gone into it on my own, I didn't. It's just one of those things that I kind of forgot about, even though I knew it existed still. And I saw it on Max so many times over the past few years too. It wasn't until I watched, I can't think of the YouTuber's name at this moment because I don't really watch his videos. His Joker video on the Jokers of Gotham. I think the video's called something different now. I think it's called like the Gotham Joker trilogy or whatever. That is not what that video was called when I saw it. I think it was called like, yeah, is the Joker in Gotham or whatever. And he says trilogy because there's actually like three big steps to Joker. But I won't get into that because that is spoilers. Well, what 4 and 5 will have related to Joker. Or it's not Joker, but I'm not going to really get into the licensing side of things of Gotham. But yeah, I saw that Joker video, and it was one of those rare occasions where I just let a video play. I had no interest watching that whatsoever, and I think at the time I was like on the Xbox. I mean, I know it was on the Xbox. I could have been playing Far Cry 5. It could have been forging a map on Halo for Machinima. I honestly don't remember what I was doing at the time, but it started playing, and I'm like, you know what, whatever, I'll listen to it. I listen to and watch the same videos and music so much. That also opened up a whole new can of worms because I also binge watched the hell out of. I'm blanking on the YouTuber because again, I don't watch them enough to memorize it. The guy who did like the Flash show being unsufferably inconsistent or something like that. And I literally watched a lot of that literally the day. And then that's not on the same day I saw the Joker video, but whatever. That's another thing I'll talk about. The Flash show, I would definitely have an episode about that. I gotta make sure to write that down as a note because I do have a lot to talk about that show. But whatever. But yeah, and through the Joker video, the Gotham Joker trilogy, whatever it's called now, I discovered through all the footage I saw and all the explanation the guy was going over, and obviously I'll put his video in the description because I may not know it here in the recording, but I will still put in the description, maybe put it on the screen what the YouTuber is and all that. But I discovered, I'm like, holy crap, there is actually DC elements in that. I thought it was gonna be like a different version. I thought it was gonna be retelling where it wasn't as. When I say comical, I don't mean as in funny. I mean comic as in accuracy to the comics or whatever. I didn't think it would be as well defined to it. I know it was a totally different universe, different story. And and so I honestly, and so when I, in that Joker video, as he went over it, the more and more I saw, the more and more interest I actually was getting. I'm like, you know what? I might actually watch this show. And one of the biggest things I saw was, I guess spoiler alert, because again, this is about to be in the 4th season or 5th season, whatever. Some of the clips I saw was like Scarecrow. I'm like, wait, Scarecrow would be in here? And then other things I learned how it was gonna be more like, and I was honestly blown just by what I learned from that video, not just about the Joker copycat, but also from all the other things he was talking about. I'm like, what? I didn't think Gotham was gonna be like that. I thought it was gonna be more serious and less, less fantastical. And that's what made me not watch Gotham, or at least the first time around, for a long time, where I just forgot about it. But like, oh crap. So, this definitely wasn't the same day. This could have been like a week later or a few days later. I don't know, because this was a few months ago. Also, I have to note, the day before this recording, I just finished season 3. I'll get into that a little more, but yeah, literally just, so this Gotham MTAO is pretty sudden, and that's because I think it's a good spot, because my brother and I have been watching it together. And I'll get a little more into that. And we chose to take a break for a while before we start season 4. We are also currently watching Rings of Power, which I've never seen, and I won't talk about that because I don't want to go on a rant spiel about something that's not DC related. I'll leave that to be its own MTO. Middle Earth, which I'm surprised I haven't made as an episode yet. Earth. But yeah, so we're taking a break. So I'm like, hey, good time. The first 3 seasons I watched. Perfect trilogy. Whatever, I can get my thoughts out on it. So yeah, oh my god, it's 10 minutes already in this recording. I don't know how long it is when I edit it. It's probably gonna be like 8 or 9 minutes, but whatever. But yeah, I started watching Gotham at whatever point where I watched the first like 20 minutes of the first episode, and I was sucked in. I was like, oh, this has caught my interest, and that's before it becomes fantastical. But because I knew it would be, I kept watching. Sadly, it ended in 2019 though. I think the show is actually done, so there's only 5 seasons. which is like, oh, but it is what it is. But either way, not either way, but yeah, I once and then the same day that I started watching it, I stopped at like 20 whatever minutes in the first episode of season one. That I brought it up to my brother, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, we should probably watch this." And we rarely watch shows together. Some of our favorites that we have is like Vox Machina, and we're really hyped for season three. Vox Machina is really cool. I would love to. I was going to talk about that in its own episode, obviously, The Legend of Vox Machina, and I might do it before season three's release or after. I don't know. Um, crap. What was I just? See, I went on a spiel about. Oh yeah, my brother, and then I restarted the episode. Him and I were just like in the living room, and we started watching Gotham, and I restarted 20 minutes over. And honestly, we were so into it. First episode, we were, and I think on that day we probably watched two or three because it is one of those shows where where each episode is like 40-ish minutes, 50-ish minutes. And I don't deny, or not deny, I don't doubt that there are some episodes that's probably like an hour. It's like, I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't be surprised if like the finale of the entire show is like an hour and a half or like whatever. I actually really like the last episode or something, the finale, longer than the average time of previous episodes. I just like Life is a Table. And I won't go on the spiel that long. Season one, not so much. But in season two, all the episodes are pretty averagely 6 to 10 minutes or whatever. That's pretty average. But the last episode was like half an hour, and I was into that. And season three was an hour and a half. Like, I actually do like longer episodes. With as the finale to something, I actually really like it. I prefer it that way. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, so yeah, it is quite long. And now, recently, we've been watching like 3 episodes a day, and this was over the past couple of months. We watched the first 3 seasons over the past couple of months. Honestly, if I looked at my logbook, I could see where I first started watching it. Because if you don't know, I actually do keep logs about the stuff I do daily. I mean, not very well, but I do. And I should have looked at this before when I started it. I assume it had to have been in June when we started it. Whatever. So yeah. Shit, where am I? Oh yeah. Sorry, curse word. See, this is spiel, rant spiel. I might even cut that out, whatever. Yeah. Wait, what? It's only it's only been 15 minutes? I don't believe that. Something's wrong. Whatever. um but yeah, I my brother and I got into it. It's just one of the shows we watched together. And yeah, like all the time. And it was really Gotham is so interesting. It is a really different. It's not that different of a retelling or a different version, but it is actually still quite different. Specific and like you're talking about the relationships of people and like Bruce Wayne as a kid, and we're following him on events that'll probably lead him to be Batman. And as far as I know, the whole thing with Gotham was they couldn't use Batman or Joker. That was like a contract thing, and I don't know if they opened that up later on because the Joker's characters, spoiler alert, there is actually 2 Joker characters. Um, but there I won't get into it because spoilers. Because they're pretty much Joker, and I wonder if that was like a contractual thing. It's like, oh yeah, that's what they're called now. But I don't think so. Based on the video I saw, I don't think so. I think they're still rolling it as a original character who's obviously supposed to come from that. But I won't get into that. But yeah, that's like what they're supposed to be or whatever. Gotham is actually really enjoyable, and I recommend highly to watch that. Usually I don't say that this early in the episode when I say, "Do you have the need to watch or the need to play it?" I'm just gonna say it now, even though we're like halfway down through the bulletproof list. I say yes. I say at least give it a try. You might actually get into it, or maybe you've already seen it and you're just listening to someone else's opinions on it, like a crazy person. No, I'm just kidding. I do too once in a while. I do sometimes. Uh, explore other types of YouTube videos I don't watch on a basis because honestly, I prefer the videos I know that are good and entertaining or whatever, informative, whatever. I don't like to go beyond the same 10 people I watch, it's basically. But I've been a lot more open recently, but whatever. Well, yeah. See, I went on a spiel about opinions and whatever those type of channels, just like what this podcast is, opinions and stuff, whatever. But yeah, Gotham is there's a lot, and I think the actors is majorly important. I don't think the show would have been as good if Ben McKenzie wasn't James Gordon. And Ben McKenzie, I actually don't know very well. I actually don't know who. I know he's been in a few stuff or whatever. He's still completely new to me as a actor, so I don't actually know what else he's been in. I looked before a long time ago, but I just forgot because again, isn't that him related to me whatsoever? And then Donald Logue, I think I'm saying his name right. He's Harvey Bullock, and if you don't know who that character is, okay, well I won't get into that. But I grew up with him as Mac from Ghost Rider. And it took me a first couple episodes of that season to actually catch on to him. I'm like, who is that guy? But yeah, he's Mac from the Ghost Rider movie, which the Ghost Rider movies are on my list as something I do want to talk about, and which I actually, which I also just recently rewatched. I watched both of those movies like in the same day or whatever. I have a huge list. It's practically everything entertainment I've ever done. But there's a lot of stuff I've forgotten that I'll make sure to put on there or not, whatever. But yeah, you're talking about David Moses or whatever. I don't know. I again, if I'm pronouncing anyone's name wrong, I'm sorry about that. Who's Bruce Wayne in that show? I say he's pretty good. I think he's gotten better as the show goes on, as the seasons go on, compared to him in the first season and him in season 3. Oh yeah, he's gotten a lot better. I mean, he's gotten older. And like Robin Lord Taylor, who's a Penguin, very cool. Very cool. That's not very descriptive enough, but you know it. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's Corey Michael Smith, who I don't really know him from anything. I never even looked at his IMDb or whatever. But he's the Riddler in the show, and obviously, and Riddler, not obviously, the Riddler is one of my favorite DC villains, aside from like the obvious ones like Joker. But even then, I'm not that much of a Joker fan. If I were to say if you were to ask me to name my favorite DC superhero, I think it's immediately Flash. I'm really into Flash. And you were to ask me who's my favorite DC villain, that's a little tougher. Like you would think, oh yeah, Reverse Flash, but no. Like you wouldn't speedster character is enough. That's also why like my favorite Marvel character isn't like Quicksilver. It's actually I think Deadpool. I think Deadpool would have to be my favorite Marvel character. And don't get me wrong, for a long time it was Iron Man and Carnage. I mean, I don't know. I have a thing for red characters. I really like red. Red is like a defining color for me. And orange sometimes. I actually really do like orange, but I don't use or think about that color as much as red, which is like the defining color for me. Even though the Slimed Artist is more prominent on yellow, but whatever, that's not the point. Which only one other person noticed, or I mean, other people probably did, but one person actually said it to me. I'm like, oh, you caught on, because yellow is very prominent for the Slimed Artist channel. There's yellow everywhere. A lot of thumbnails will have something yellow on it. It's just I don't know. The channel's color. Mine personally is red, but the channel would be yellow. Why did I start talking about color? Oh yeah, because I was talking about DC villains or whatever. But yeah, like the actors and the characters they play, and like again, spoilers for the first 3 seasons, as I will say again, at one point. Riddler finally just became Riddler like mid season 3, and I'm like, oh my god, yes. Well, not he got really close to there, and it wasn't until like I don't know 70 something percent through the season where he's just like, I'm the Riddler, and I'm like, yeah. I got really stoked, as I will get into at the end of season 3, which I which I was also really stoked about. But I just love how it's just it's so different. Like from the first episode, immediately it's like, hey, Nigma. I'm like, wait, Nigma, that's Riddler. And then him not even becoming, but seeing him like slowly go more insane as the series goes on, and then this whole thing in season two. Honestly, there's a lot to talk about. I won't actually talk that much about. I'm not really going to talk about the plot, just talk about everything else that I'm into about it, because honestly, that's what MTAO is about. It's not a review. I mean, okay, I guess essentially it's a review, but it's not like a breakdown. Breakdown, breakdown. Damn it, JoJo. I didn't even watch that part, and I have that song in my head. Breakdown, 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 whatever. At one point, maybe I should watch those JoJo's, but I've only watched the first three as. Wait, yeah, I knew. I did record an episode of JoJo. I had to make sure. I had to think about it. I'm like, wait, did I? But yeah, I did. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, just like I love the characters, and I love how, and like it's slowly, not slowly, but it's becoming more involved with DC. Like at the end of season three, it's revealed, not revealed, but Penguin is now actually building up the iceberg lounge. I was so into that. I was actually really into that. That and the reveal that Butch like survived a gunshot to the head, and it's possibly because his real birth name, even though we knew him as Butch for all these seasons, at one point his name was changed. Either he did it or someone else did it. Whatever the reason is, his real birth name is Cyrus Gold. And if you don't know who that is, it's Solomon Grundy. And I'm like, I was really, I as soon as I heard Cyrus, I'm like, what? Which I was really, because we were just about to say, like, we saw him get shot in the head by Barbara. And then we were just like, as soon as it shows him in the hospital with a bandage around his head, it's just like, no fucking way. It's like, how is he alive? I mean, but we always make that joke. My brother and I eventually came to, like, a joke for the show. It's like, well, it's Gotham. Which, again, isn't, like, original. People have probably said that before, and characters in that universe have definitely said it before. Oh, welcome to Gotham, or whatever. Yeah. Ben McKenzie as James Gordon is honestly really good. He plays a really good pissed off guy. He actually is really good. The face he makes, like either when he's annoyed, pissed off, or just like fully rage is like he makes a really good pissed off voice. And don't get me wrong, he's good at like all the stuff too, and his smile definitely does feel reassuring in this sort of way. But like, yeah, his anger, his face of anger is really the most effective with him, I think. And Jim is quite angry like 40 something percent of the time. Yeah, and it's just like, wow, god, he's a really good, I think he's a good actor, and I think a whole bunch of other people are. Like, this has to be one of my, Corey Michael Smith has to be one of my favorite Riddlers ever. I actually am just gonna be full honest about that. I would have to say, don't get me wrong, Jim Carrey, I'm saying his name right. Sometimes I get Jim Carrey and Tim Curry mixed up, so sorry about that. I do think Jim Carrey is a fantastic Riddler, and, Batman Forever, shit, that's not what it was called. No, yeah, Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, and the last movie's Batman Forever, Poison Ivy. Okay, I think I'm getting Batman and Robin and Batman Forever mixed up. Whatever. The movie he's in, as Riddler, he's a really good Riddler. Do not get me wrong, but I am into Corey Michael Smith as Riddler. I think he just has that face, and he pulls off the stylish green suit with a bowler hat. It's just like, dude, like, that's a Riddler. Like, even if I didn't never watch that show, even if I never saw anything of that show, and I saw a picture of him as Riddler, I would say, like, oh, that's fucking Riddler. Sorry for my language. Language. Oh boy. But yeah, and like music too. The music is actually really, you don't there it's not really as heavy on music, and honestly, it does exist there. like anything else, you just don't notice it at the time, obviously, because like you start to notice that like Life is a Table. Watching Life is a Table. Wait, am I supposed to say this? Oh God, I don't think I'm supposed to say this. I'm not gonna give a context of the reason why, but honestly, because no one really watches these, I don't mind as much. Watching Life is a Table season 5, which is coming out right now. We're only halfway through the season, essentially halfway. um Watching that show without its like music is not the right way. So I definitely won't watch those non-music versions to enjoy the series. There's no way. You need music. And there's some other sounds too, like dramatic, whatever. But yeah, and it's not so. I definitely think if I were to watch Gotham and all of its music was gone, I wouldn't notice, and it just wouldn't feel right. It wouldn't. I think you should never watch something without its because music is so important. I always mean to talk about music more. I obviously I can't compose music for crap. I probably can if I actually tried, but I don't really. That's only because I don't really have the need to actually really try making something. So that's why my music personally sucks. I like it. I prefer what I do. I think it fits with the stuff I need music for. I actually do like it, but whatever. But music is so important. I think, and I said it before, I think MTAO could have its own episode solely based around the art of music, based on what I know, based on how I can explain it, like psychologically and like emotionally and just like whatever dramatically. um, that will come to whenever. Usually, I want to focus on more entertainment thing based episodes before going on to more, because I definitely will never do like politics on here. I ain't doing that. That's real stupid. And now it might involve politics sometimes. That is a possibility. I could be talking about something very political and not really realize that it's political as much as I'm just talking about an element of something that is political, and that's not the same thing for me. Whatever, but I mean, it's politics, but it's not the same thing. But whatever, that's not the point. Um, I went on that rant. What the heck was I even talking about? Music, whatever. Oh yeah, okay, I know what I was talking about. Who cares? But yeah, DC recently has. I've always been a DC fan, especially when I was younger. But it was one of those things I just died out from for a long time, and it wasn't until I don't know 3 4 years ago that I really got into it again. But it's only been recently, for a year and a half or whatever, that I've been just just slurping up all that DC content, specifically DCAU. I really do like the DCAU, even though its timeline is confusing. I've been watching a lot of Watchtower Database. They do all things DC, and they even have like a fan comic book series that I've never checked out. That maybe I should. But that yeah, Watchtower Database is one of the I've been watching them a lot recently, and I recommend them highly for DC content. Usually they focus more around DCAU, but they do stuff around for DCEU and a whole bunch of other like Teen Titans and all that. It's like it's something canon or not or whatever. I would recommend watching that. I don't even know if they have Gotham videos, but now I'm curious. They might. I don't know. Now I'm trying to avoid any further spoilers. I'm not even gonna rewatch that Joker Gotham trilogy video until I'm actually done with Gotham myself, because I don't want to get like re-spoiled about something or like that I forgot that I can re-experience again or whatever. Uh, but yeah, DC has been really inspirational recently, and then it brought in my Machinima series, Sam's Slime Artist Machinima short series. There is a few DC based characters, and sometimes it's not even supposed to be them. It's supposed to be like people posing as them. I'll kind of give an example. In a video I have a script for that I've had the script for probably like a year isn't something I will probably actually do anytime soon because it's not really that high of a priority. Is life is like a table. Keep that in mind. Life is like a table. It's not life is a table, but it's definitely influenced by it, and that's probably because it follows the Shade artist, who I'm not going to explain it to. Again, Sam's will probably get its own episode at one point, even though it's my own thing. But yeah, in the third episode, Batman is here. It focuses around a whole bunch of DC stuff. You have Robin, you have Batgirl, who really isn't like Batgirl is not a character at all in that. She's there for like 2 seconds or whatever. But like, yeah, Joker, Killer Croc, Deadshot, and obviously Batman, and whatever, and a few other characters that are just mentioned or whatever. So it's not actually suggesting that Sam's interferes with itself with one of the universes in DC. No, it definitely does to a degree, but there's okay, Killer Croc. I really do like Killer Croc. He was one of my favorite characters growing up for DC villains, but he's definitely not my favorite anymore. He definitely was one of my favorites. He has no story to him whatsoever. He's just Killer Croc. His name's Killer Croc. He does act a little different, obviously, because he's like, oh yeah, and he's like, I surgically replace my cock with a Killer Croc's cock. It's like, oh god, I can't wait for that. I can't actually wait to start doing that video, like recording the voice lines for it. Oh my god. Honestly, I really I don't do my content as much as I should be. It's sometimes just so hard to get motivated enough to do it. But I can't wait till I actually do that video because like him, there's nothing to him. But like Joker and Deadshot and Robin are completely original characters who just took upon the persona of that character. Johnny Kirker, I think I might be wrong, Kerner, whatever. Johnny Kerner is obsessed with the Joker, and then he's the Joker, which is funny because in a canceled kind of scrapped mini series, it was a character called themselves "I'm the Joker of this universe." In reality, there's an actual Joker, but that's not the point. I just find it funny. But like, yeah, Robin is someone completely different. It's just, and again, there's no, so not all of them are like that, or not yet. Like, even Joker wasn't supposed to be, but I made him a original character who was just posing as Joker, who went with a little different of a flair, and that's why he's like maroon and teal instead of like purple and green. He just put his own like little original twist on it. I did that also just to add more originality to it. Of someone who's just simply posing as Joker, but doing their own flair to the character and all that. Whatever. He's like a psychopath. But Deadshot, same thing. He's a contractual assassin who just went by the name Deadshot. I don't know if he knows of the fictional character. It might just been conveniently called Deadshot. So there's a character conveniently named Deadshot who works with Joker and Killer Croc, not knowing his name is DC related, and that's why he attracted the attention of Joker and Killer Croc, who would know that name, because Joker being a DC fan, and Killer Croc, as far as I know, just being Killer Croc. There's no story with him. There might be, but right now there's no story with him whatsoever. I thought we'd have a tight schedule, Joker. I gotta figure out more. That's not the voice I want. I think it was gonna go more of a higher pitch. I thought we had a tight schedule, Joker. I don't know. I voice like all the characters in that video except for Batman. Joker currently, he's still open for auditioning. Not like expecting anyone to watch this to be interested in auditioning anyway. I'm just simply pointing it out. Whatever. I've been talking to Sam's for so long. I'm so sorry. The point is, DC really influenced that in Gotham recently. Inspired me to do more, like Joker. When the guy who's the first Joker came back, and after we watched that episode with him, I was just like in a Joker mood, and that's where I expanded on the Joker character of Sam's, making him just a super fan who's a psychopath who was obsessed with the Joker and became the Joker of the Crackverse, or verse 1, whatever you want to call it. It really depends on what you want to call it. I personally call it verse 1 because that's usually what characters in universe would sometimes call it, but out of universe, and maybe some people somehow, some reason, call it the cracked verse, which is technically its official name, but it's not the name I prefer to call it because it's not. Whatever. Talking about Sam's again. It's the recording is reaching. It's like almost always at the 40 something ish minute of recordings. I start to kind of break. It's like I spend enough time on it, and I start to get easily distracted and all that. Yeah, but yeah, that's essentially, and like Gotham, it's just so. I haven't even really talked about Gotham. I haven't even really broke it down to explain why I like it. It's just there's so many elements. It's like life is a table. There's so much to go over, and like the quality is really good. And the CGI, which there isn't a lot of, but there is quite a few of, I also really like. I recommend the CGI. I don't recommend the CGI, but the quality show is so good. And honestly, I would talk about the same for like Rings of Power too, but I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, Gotham is it's really good. I recommend it highly. I don't actually know. I think it was disliked. I think it was popular. IMDb says 7.8 out of 10. But I'm pretty sure it's one of those things I heard over and over again about people complaining about it. Not as much as I hear people complain about like the DC EU or MCU right now, because that's really negative, but I know I've heard a lot of stuff. But yeah, I thought Gotham was one of the shows that no one liked because it's, not accurate or faithful. It's like, shut the Sufuko up. But whatever, all that. I guess I'm talking about my general thoughts. We're literally reaching the end of the video here. General thoughts. I really like this show. Couple more seasons to go. Honestly, I would feel like something would be missing from my life when I finish it. So I'm not gonna be happy about that. I always feel that way with a show I'm really into. And then if I finish, especially if it's the first time I've ever seen this show or movie or whatever. Once it's over, it's gone, and I actually feel really like, what now? What am I to do? Like, I feel kind of empty for a while before I'm like, oh yeah. Either I find something else to fill in that entertainment or whatever, or I don't and I just move on. It's not that big of a deal. One thing missing from your normal timeline doesn't change that much. I mean, it kind of does, but it's really not that much. Either way, yeah, I think we're reaching an end here. I'm gonna say real quick though, Sean Pertwee, I think I'm saying his name wrong. He's Alfred in the show, and honestly, he has to be one of my favorite Alfreds ever. I think he is my favorite Alfred in any DC thing, whatever. I've never seen such a cool fucking language again. Alfred, I think he's awesome, and I grew up with him as damn it, I don't know the universe enough to actually memorize characters' names, but he was a character in Dog Soldiers, and Dog Soldiers is something I would definitely love to make an episode about. And yeah, I love Dog Soldiers, and he was the character in that movie, so I recognized him immediately. Dog Soldiers means a lot to me as like a horror movie. Again, I'll get into that whenever it gets its own episode. But yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, and I don't think I can look at him ever again. If I ever watch Dog Soldiers or just see him in another show or whatever, I don't think I will ever be able to not see Alfred Pennyworth from Gotham because he's Alfred now in my head. I think he was also in Event Horizon, which I saw like a couple years ago, which I actually really dig. Event Horizon, it's not like a good movie, but it's definitely something, and I would definitely love to watch it again and maybe make an MTAO episode about it. I know eventually everything will get an MTAO, but that's not the point. Alright, we reached the end of our recording here. This was really sudden. I was planning to start doing MTAO again in August, but I guess I'm doing it because on the day I'm recording this is 31st of July. Oh wait, I have a body acting later too, don't I? Oh, I gotta keep that in mind. Crap, I gotta keep that in mind. Whatever. But yeah, this is the end of MTAO. I had a good time. My throat's starting to dry up. I've been drinking like a soda where I should be drinking water this entire time. I am not very professional, clearly. But yeah, I liked. I like to talk about this. Even if these episodes aren't ever really gonna be listened or heard, I like to get my thoughts out there. And it's not like purely out there, of course, because honestly, I'm not making these 2-3 hour videos where I could talk about something forever. And honestly, that's going to be really difficult with later episodes with certain subjects where I won't rant on about it for a long time. Oh boy. Yeah. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time. If you're here, thank you. There will be a whole bunch of links in the description below for you to see all the stuff I mentioned or whatever. YouTubers, whatever. I'll also point out there might be other places for it, but you can watch Gotham on Max right now. I think I don't know if it's available on the lowest subscription. I don't. Does Max have subscriptions? I would imagine it does. I mean, I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, you have a good day. I'll have a good day. We all have a good day. Boom shakalaka. Holy crap, it's hot.